According to the AFR, we were the best performing fund in Australia last financial year, which was a great result for our investors. 122% versus our benchmark of 105, so it was a 16% beat on our benchmark, which we're really pleased with.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have with us in the studio Ryan McMillin, the co-founder and CIO of Merkle Capital, a pioneering firm in the digital asset investment space. Ryan, thanks for joining me.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, Rhythm.
Now, Ryan, your MTC Digital Asset Fund has been turning heads with this performance. So, can you elaborate on how the fund achieved its impressive 122% annual return for financial year 2024, outperforming its Bitcoin benchmark?
According to the AFR, we were the best performing fund in Australia last financial year, which was a great result for our investors. 122% versus our benchmark of 105, so it was a 16% beat on our benchmark, which we're really pleased with. A market we think is not quite yet a full bull market, so really happy to beat our benchmark in that period. I think one of the key reasons for beating that benchmark is actually having it in the first place. So we're the only fund we know that has a Bitcoin benchmark, which sets the benchmark really high in terms of what we can put in the portfolio. So we have to be super selective of what goes in, and a result of that is we were the only fund to beat Bitcoin. We're also the only fund that was trying to beat Bitcoin. So that Bitcoin benchmark is a large part of it. And then there's also our process, and we have a risk overlay as well that helps us add and remove risk throughout the cycle where we think we are.
So speaking of Bitcoin, I understand that your fund uses it as a benchmark, so which is actually very unique. So can you tell us the rationale behind this decision and how it actually benefits investors?
Yeah, sure. So about 3 years ago when we were launching the fund in 2021, we thought really hard about the proposition. We knew at that point that Bitcoin ETFs were going to come to the market in the foreseeable future. And so we wanted to offer something that was going to offer value, add value over and above that. So we took the decision, pretty strong decision to choose Bitcoin as a benchmark. Now, that's an asset that's up 20 million% since 2011. And annualizing at 140% or around there. So obviously a really challenging benchmark. But that just adds conviction to what we believe we can do with our portfolio. So whilst we think it aligns us with our investors really well, that we can add value over and above what they might otherwise be able to achieve, it also really focuses us on what should be in the portfolio, makes us really high conviction, and we have to be super selective of what we can and can't include. Given that is our benchmark, Bitcoin's effectively our beta, and we're going to try and add alpha over and above that.
I understand. Thanks for explaining that. Now, in such a volatile market, risk management is very crucial. So can you walk us through your risk overlay strategy and how it actually adapts to the crypto market cycles?
Yeah, that's right. So there's pretty clear crypto market cycles around 4 years, and this is tied partly to the Bitcoin halving event, which is every 4 years, around every 4 years. But there's also some liquidity factors that are around 4 years. So the US election cycle is a 4-year cycle, and liquidity is also tied to that. So not exactly clear which of those two. Both of those elements are sort of adding to that structure. But what we have observed is Bitcoin's able to outperform most of the crypto asset class, the rest of the crypto asset class. We call the alts. So anything that's not Bitcoin is an alt. Through certain parts of that cycle, it will be the best performing asset, like a bear market or even a consolidation phase that we're sort of closing out now. Really hard to beat Bitcoin benchmark. But then on this full bull market, when we go into that really heated part of the cycle, crypto significantly outperforms. So what we want to do is be able to add and remove risk to our portfolio through that cycle, and we're informed by a bunch of different data sciences to help us do that. So I sort of like think of employing multi-factor data to inform us where we are in the cycle. So that can be a matter of TA, that can be on-chain, which is quite specific to blockchain, and that's also sentiment indicators and also some macro indicators. So we gauge all of those up together and sort of take a position of where we think we are in the market and add and remove risk accordingly.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. That's brilliant. Now let's talk about the broader landscape. So, with the rapid adoption of blockchain technology, there are millions of tokens out there. So, how do you identify investable opportunities amongst this vast sea of options?
Now millions of tokens. We used to talk about 20,000 or so tokens, and there's a lot of junk out there in that number. There's one protocol on Solana called Pump.Fund, and that has been launching 100,000 or more tokens every day for certain days. So it's so frictionless to start something up. We're not really sure how many tokens there are, but clearly there's a lot of junk. And we really want to focus on that top 1%, which is now really that top 0.01% is what we think is investable. Blockchain technology itself has been adopted. It's the fastest technology adoption, faster than the internet. Actually, it's just been overtaken by AI. It's a little bit faster again, but they've sort of been building on each other. With the internet, that's allowed faster and faster adoption of these technologies. So we're really excited to see where that goes. We think Bitcoin has carved out this digital money, which is really interesting. But there's a lot of other narratives that are starting to gain traction. We really focus on the picks and shovel approach. So we want to be benefiting from wherever transactions are happening in the crypto space, if it be a Solana or Ethereum. And that can be as simple as something as stable coin. So there's billions of people on the planet who are probably not comfortable with Bitcoin or understand it or even know of it, but they know US dollars and they want US dollars. And they're not going to ever get a US dollar sanctioned account through the banking system, but with blockchain technology, through a crypto wallet, they can actually save and have a harder currency through US dollar stable coins. So we think that's super powerful, and there's billions of people that certainly want that, at least on top of all the other really interesting narratives. Like there's really strong parallels with AI being quite complementary to blockchain. Real world assets we think will probably start to take off later this cycle or maybe next cycle. DePIN is something we're really excited about, which is decentralized physical infrastructure networks. And so, there's a whole world of new opportunities and businesses able to be built now with this new technology.
Absolutely brilliant. Thanks for explaining that. Now, for sophisticated investors looking at various options, what sets the MTC Digital Asset Fund apart from other crypto investment options that are available to wholesale investors in Australia?
Yeah, certainly the Bitcoin benchmark, that's a real statement of intent from us. We have that much confidence in our strategy and those two elements of Bitcoin and this risk overlay to be able to outperform. So we think that's really important. Equally, Dean Cerrone, my co-founder, he's a real tech and crypto native as well. So he brings that experience, which is really complementary to my own, which is more TradFi and hedge funds and risk management and portfolio construction. So really complementary skill sets there that work really well together. And we're hoping for some really interesting times ahead and really looking forward to the next 12 months particularly. We think there's going to be a really interesting bull market and looking to see where it goes.
Absolutely. Well, those were some really valuable insights about MTC's Digital Asset Fund and Merkle Capital. For those who are interested to get in touch with the team, please see the details at the side of your screen or in the description of this video. Once again, thank you, Ryan, and our team wishes you all the luck with your venture moving forward.
Cheers. Thanks, Rhythm. Nice to be here.
Thank you.